Hi everybody, this is Ms.Autry and I'm going to be working with you to solve proportions. So a proportion is an equation stating that two ratios or rates are equivalent. So what we're going to do is I want you to write that definition in the blank there, and while you're writing I'm going to explain what it means. So an equation has to have an equal sign, and two ratios or rates are going to be represented as a fraction. So as you can see down here, we have two fractions, and we're showing that they're equivalent. They're equal because or equation because they have an equal sign between them, and we're going to figure out some of the missing numbers in them. If you need more time to write that down, then go ahead and pause the video for yourself. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. To solve a proportion, these are our steps right here. We're going to write our ratio as a fraction in simplest form. Then we're going to write a second ratio as a fraction with an unknown value. And then we're going to solve for the missing number by multiplying or dividing to make an equivalent second fraction. Okay, so the fractions here are already given to us. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so we can see these a little bit better as I'm working through them. Alright, so that first fraction there is 8/10, and we're going to try to figure out what it's equivalent to, what number over 35 is it equivalent to. So since the proportion is already written for us, we just have to now do this simplified, up there in the steps it says the simplest form. So the fractions that are given to us are not in simplest form first. So that's what we're going to do. So 8/10, we got to figure out the simplified version of 8/10, and you should know that's 4/5. So we're going to rewrite this proportion here with this simplified fraction. Now you're going to ask yourselves, what can you multiply 5 by to get to 35? Times 7. So 4 times 7 is 28. Because whatever you do to the bottom, you must do to the top. So our answer is 28. So the equivalent fraction here is 28 over 35. If I was to simplify this fraction down, it should equal 4/5. Alright, question number 2. We're looking for 2/4 equals something over 38. Well, 2/4 is equal to 1/2. Now we got to figure out a number to put at the top here. So we asked ourselves 2 times what makes 38? And 2 times 19 makes 38. So 1 times 19 is 19. So all we're doing is making an equivalent fraction. Alright, last one. 9 over 12. If we simplify 9 over 12, we can divide the numerator and the denominator both by 3, and that will equal 3/4. So now we're going to ask ourselves, well, this time we have missing number on the bottom. So we're going to have to figure out from the numerator first. So 3 times what makes 33, and it's times 11. So whatever we do to the numerator, we're going to do to the denominator. 4 times 11 is 44. So now we have our equivalent fraction, 33 over 44. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to have to set up our proportion like this and then solve, but we have to do that reading a word problem. So we're going to start with number 1. Maya wrote, hold on, let me wait for my camera to focus. Okay, sorry about that. Maya wrote 20 thank you cards in 25 minutes. She has 10 minutes to work on her thank you cards before tennis practice. How many cards can she write in 10 minutes? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to write the given rate as a fraction. And our given rate here is 20 thank you cards in 25 minutes. So because the 20 thank you cards came first, I'm going to write that at the top of my fraction. So I'm first going to write thank you cards. Actually, that's kind of a long name, so I'll just write cards. Cards over minutes. So then I'm going to actually write the rate cards over minutes. So 20 over 25. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to simplify it because this is not simplified. Remember we had to have the simplified version first. So we're going to divide it by 5. And we're going to get 4 over 5. So now that is our simplified fraction. And now what I'm going to do is create an equivalent to the next one. So now I can write the proportion. So here we go. This was a given rate. It's been simplified to 4/5. Now we have cards over minutes because I started with cards over minutes. So in my question it says how many cards can she write in 10 minutes? So see how it's 10 minutes here? So it's got to go on the bottom because the minutes over here is on the bottom. So I'm going to put my 10 on the bottom over here. Now I'm going to ask myself, what can I multiply 5 by to make 10? And it's 2. So what's 4 times 2? 8. So how many thank you cards can she write in 10 minutes? 8 cards. So that's my solution. All right. Number 2. Ben can do 50 sit-ups in 3 minutes. At this rate, how many sit-ups can he do in 24 minutes? All right, so the rate that is given to me is sit-ups to minutes, 50 to 3. So I'm going to do sit-ups over minutes. So all my fractions that I write here have to be sit-ups over minutes. So the given rate was 50 over 3, so we're going to write 50 over 3. Now I know 50 over 3 is simplified because 50 can't be divided by 3 because if I add 50 and 0, they make 5, and that is not a number that is divisible by 3. So that is how you figure out if something is divisible by 3. Okay, so now I'm going to put in the question has the 24 minutes. And the minutes, see, we put them on the bottom. So I'm going to put 24 minutes on the bottom. So now I'm going to ask myself, what can I multiply 3 by to get to 24? And that's times 8. So 50 times 8 is 400. So my solution is 400, and then I go back to my first fraction, it says sit-ups. So my answer is 400 sit-ups. Okay, I'm going to do one more with you, and then you're going to be doing number 4, and then you're going to check it. Okay, so I'm going to do number 3 with you. How long will it take Casey to run a 400-meter race if he can run 120 meters in 30 seconds? Okay, the 120 meters in 30 seconds is the rate that is given to me. The 400 meters is what I'm trying to figure out. So I'm going to first write the 120 meters in 30 seconds as a rate. And I see that that rate is given to me as meters to seconds. So my first thing I'm going to write is my fraction, meters to seconds. So now I know that all my fractions that I write here have to have meters on the top, seconds on the bottom. So 120 meters in 30 seconds. Now I know this is not simplified because you see how there's a 0 on the top and a 0 on the bottom. When you have that, you can divide by 10. So I'm just going to take those zeros away and know that I divided by 10. Now I have 12 on the top and 3 on the bottom. And those are both divisible by 3. So what's 12 divided by 3 makes 4. And 3 divided by 3 makes 1. So now I have this simplified. 4 meters every 1 second. And now I am trying to figure out how far he can do 400 meters. So remember, go back to your fraction. Meters are on the top. So you're going to put 400 meters on the top. And our missing number is here on the bottom this time. So 4 times what makes 400? And you should know that's 100. So 1 times 100 is 100. And then go back to figure out what we were looking for. It says how long? 100 seconds. We're good. We found it right. 100 seconds. Okay? Go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to do question number 4, and then we're going to check it. Okay, number 4. Miss Wallace ordered 10 bottles of paint for 18 students. How many bottles of paint would she need? Sorry, that's not written correctly. Would she need to order for 27 students? Okay, so we're doing bottles to students now. Bottles came first, then students. So I'm going to write bottles over students. The given ratio that was given to me, this is a ratio, 10 to 18. 10 on the top, 18 on the bottom. I definitely know that's not simplified, so I'm going to divide it by 2. And that's 5 over 9. Now, in the question it says for 27 students. Students are on the bottom. 27 on the bottom. 9 times what makes 27? 3. 5 times 3 makes 15. Circle it. Your solution is 15 bottles. I hope you got it correct. Okay, moving on to number 5. Go ahead and pause the video. You're going to solve it, and then we'll check it. Okay, in a garden, the ratio of tulips to daisies is 12 to 15. If there are 48 tulips, how many daisies are in the garden? So the ratio given to me was tulips to daisies. So I'm going to write tulips on the top, daisies on the bottom. Now all my fractions have to have tulips to daisies. So tulips was 12, daisies was 15. You should go ahead and simplify that by dividing both by 3. And that is 4 to 5. And now I'm going to put in the 48 tulips. That was in the question. Tulips on the top. So I'm missing numbers down here. 4 times what makes 48? 12. Then 5 times 12 makes 60. So our answer is 60 daisies. Okay. Now be careful on number 6. Your answer is going to be, it has a decimal in it, but you can still put that decimal in a fraction. Okay. Let's go ahead and pause. Try number 6. Alright, so let's go ahead and do it. 5 notebooks weigh 5.5 pounds. How much does 6 notebooks weigh? So we got notebooks. And then the weight. So notebooks on the top, weight on the bottom. So 5 notebooks on the top, 5.5, weight on the bottom. See, I can see how they all have 5s, so I know that I can divide both of these by 5. So 5, that's going to be 1 notebook is 1.1 pounds. Now I'm trying to find 6 notebooks. So 6 notebooks. Notebooks on the top. 6. So 1 times 6 makes 6. So 1.1 times 6 is 6.6. So my solution is 6.6 pounds. Okay, so that's all our questions. Now, if you're still struggling with how to make the equal fractions there, if you need to do it as a table, you can do that. So like, for example, if I was doing this last one in a table, it was notebooks to weight. I could make the table, so I'll show you. Like we have been doing, notebooks to weight. It was 5 notebooks, or 5.5 pounds. Then we simplify it by dividing by 5. And that is 1 to 1.1. Then you put the 6 up here because we were looking for 6 notebooks. And we multiply it by 6 and we still get the same answer. So if you need a little bit more help organizing, then you can do it as a table. But just make sure that you write your little equal signs between them so we know that you're making those equivalent fractions. Alright guys, I hope this helped you out, and Miss Bennett will be back on Monday.